First Contact's Revelation. The crystalline spires of the Coalition survey vessel Astral Seeker glittered against the backdrop of Earth's solar system. Navigation Officer Rintal drummed her scaled fingers against the control panel, her bioluminescent markings pulsing with growing anxiety. This was supposed to be a routine check on the supposedly primitive human civilization, their 57th such survey since discovering Earth a century ago. Anomalous energy signature detected, announced technical specialist Jorax, his compound eyes rapidly processing the stream of data across his neural interface. Origin point, Mars orbital zone. Impossible, Rintal responded, mandibles clicking in agitation. Human technology shouldn't be capable of. Her words cut short as space itself seemed to fold inward, a massive vessel emerging from what appeared to be a tear in reality. The ship was unlike anything in Coalition records, its hull a seamless blend of organic curves and geometric patterns that pulsed with internal energy. Captain Nixvera rose from her command chair, her crystalline exoskeleton catching the light of distant stars. "By the first light," she whispered, using an ancient Coalition prayer. "What have they created?" The vessel defied conventional Coalition engineering principles. Where Coalition ships were angular and crystalline, this human vessel seemed almost alive, its surface shifting like liquid metal. Energy readings suggested power generation capabilities that should have been centuries beyond human development. "We're being scanned," Jorax reported, his voice trembling. "Their sensors are penetrating our stealth fields as if they weren't even there." Before Captain Nixvera could respond, a communication request registered across all their systems simultaneously, another feat that should have been impossible given their supposedly superior encryption. A human voice, calm and authoritative, filled their command center. "Coalition vessel, this is the Earth Defense Force carrier Bastion. You've entered restricted space without proper authorization. Please state your purpose." Nixvera felt her crystalline form vibrate with tension. This wasn't how first contact with human military forces was supposed to go. They were supposed to be primitive, barely able to reach their own moon. Yet here they were, being challenged by a vessel that shouldn't exist. "This is Captain Nixvera of the Coalition Survey Corps," she responded, maintaining diplomatic protocol. "We are conducting a routine survey as per established monitoring protocols." A pause followed, during which the Bastion's presence seemed to grow even more imposing. Its mere existence challenged everything they thought they knew about humanity's technological capabilities. "Captain Nixvera," the human voice returned, now tinged with what might have been amusement. "Your established protocols were tolerated when we were finding our footing in space. However, circumstances have changed. Earth is no longer accepting unannounced surveillance of our territory." Lieutenant Crix, Nixvera's second-in-command, transmitted a private message through their neural network. "They can't be serious. They're centuries behind us technologically." Or were they? The Bastion shifted position, executing a maneuver that their sensors barely registered before it was complete. The movement demonstrated propulsion technology far beyond what humans should possess. "We will provide you with updated diplomatic channels for future contact," the human continued. "For now, please accept this data package and withdraw beyond the Kuiper Belt. This space is now under Earth jurisdiction." Data flooded their systems, not forced through their firewalls, but somehow already present, as if it had always been there. The implications were staggering. Either humans had developed impossible technological capabilities, or they had discovered something that had given them access to advanced technology. As the Astral Seeker prepared to withdraw, Nixvera couldn't shake the feeling that the galaxy was about to change dramatically. Humanity had been watching their watchers all along, and now they were ready to step onto the galactic stage on their own terms. "Send an emergency update to Coalition Command," she ordered as they retreated. "Priority Ultra. The humans. They're not what we thought they were. They never were." As they accelerated away from Earth, the Bastion vanished as mysteriously as it had appeared, leaving behind only questions and the dawning realization that the galaxy's power structure was about to be irrevocably altered. Coalition Command would need to be informed immediately. Humanity hadn't just caught up to galactic civilization. They might have surpassed it. And no one, not even the eldest races of the Coalition, knew how they had done it. Depths of destiny. Dr. Marcus Blackwood stood at the viewport of Nautilus Station, 15 kilometers beneath the Pacific Ocean's surface. The reinforced quantum glass windows looked out into the absolute darkness of the Hadal Zone, occasionally illuminated by the bioluminescent creatures that called these depths home. But he wasn't here to study the local wildlife. Quantum mapping scanned complete. Doctor, reported Lieutenant Olivia Drake from her station. The structure extends another 3 kilometers into the sediment. It's bigger than we initially thought. The holographic display sprang to life in the center of the command center, showing a massive geometric structure buried beneath the ocean floor. Its angular lines and perfect symmetry made it clear this was no natural formation. What they had discovered here 4 years ago had changed everything. And the galaxy still didn't know. Temperature readings are still stable, Commander Hassan Patel, their chief engineer, called out. The structure's power source remains active. If our translations are correct, it's been running continuously for at least 100,000 years. Marcus remembered the day they first detected the anomaly. What had started as a routine deep-sea geological survey had turned into the most important discovery in human history. The structure, they called it the archival nexus, was a repository of advanced technology left behind by a civilization that had vanished long before humans first walked upright. New data coming in from Chamber 12, Drake announced. The quantum processors are finally making sense of the latest database segment. You'll want to see this, Doctor. Marcus moved to her station, his eyes widening as he read the data. This confirms our theory. The Nexus isn't just a library. It's a testing ground. Those who built it wanted to find worthy successors. Hassan asked, voicing the question that had puzzled them all since they'd first managed to access the Nexus's systems. Not exactly, Marcus replied, studying the complex strings of alien code. They created a challenge. Only species with the right combination of attributes would be able to not just find the Nexus, but understand and utilize its knowledge. The depth, the pressure, the complex security systems, they're all part of the test. The room fell silent as the implications sank in. Humanity hadn't been chosen. They had proven themselves worthy through their own determination and ingenuity. The Bastion, now in Mars orbit, was just the first implementation of what they'd learned. Message from Surface Command. Lieutenant Drake interrupted. The Coalition survey ship has left the system, but there's more. Long-range sensors are detecting increased activity at known Coalition waypoints. They're mobilizing. Marcus nodded, unsurprised. They were bound to notice eventually. The question was always whether we'd be ready when they did. He turned to face his team. Initiate Protocol Omega. It's time to wake up the rest of the Nexus. Deep beneath them, ancient machinery hummed to life. The structure's outer layers began to shift, reconfiguring themselves according to patterns programmed eons ago. What the Coalition had seen was just the beginning. The Nexus contained knowledge that would revolutionize their understanding of physics, space, and reality itself. Power and protocol. First Speaker Theron of the Galactic Coalition sat in the crystalline chamber of the diplomatic vessel Eternal Discourse, his iridescent scales shifting colors with barely contained anxiety. The human delegation sat across from him, their composure unsettling in its confidence. You must understand our position, Theron began, his translator converting his harmonic speech into clear English. Such power, acquired so suddenly. The galaxy needs assurance it will be used responsibly. Admiral Diana Wu, commander of the Bastion, allowed herself a small smile. The same assurance you've provided with your stealth ships currently trying to scan our deep ocean facilities. Theron's translucent skin flushed slightly, the equivalent of a human blush. On cue, holographic displays materialized around the conference room, showing real-time feeds of Coalition infiltration attempts across Earth's oceans. "We've been tracking them since they entered the atmosphere," Dr. Blackwood added from his seat beside the Admiral. "Just as we've been aware of every probe, every spy, and every attempted data breach since we revealed ourselves." Deep beneath the Pacific Ocean, the archival nexus hummed with increasing energy. Its quantum cores had detected the Coalition's latest attempts to penetrate its defenses and were responding accordingly, not with violence, but with something far more elegant. Unusual energy signature detected. A Coalition tech announced through the ship's comms. It's coming from everywhere." The Nexus had activated its final protocol. Across Earth's oceans, precise gravitational waves began to ripple outward, carrying with them packets of information encoded in the fabric of spacetime itself. The Coalition's most sophisticated sensors could detect these waves but couldn't decode them. The message they carried was meant for other receivers. Suddenly, every piece of Coalition technology, from their mighty warships to their smallest probes, began receiving transmissions, not attacks or invasive code, but something far more profound. Understanding. What is this?" Theron whispered as his neural interface filled with information he could barely comprehend. The data wasn't forcing its way in. It was teaching, explaining, revealing. The archival nexus left more than just technology. Marcus explained, his voice gentle but firm. "They left a message for whoever would eventually find their legacy. Would you like to know what it says?" On the Coalition ships, crews watched in amazement as their own technology began to respond to the waves of information, not by shutting down or malfunctioning, but by working better, more efficiently, as if it had always been capable of more, but had never been properly understood. "The message is simple," Admiral Wu continued. "Knowledge without wisdom is meaningless. Power without understanding is dangerous. The builders of the Nexus didn't choose humanity because we were special. They chose us because we were willing to learn before we tried to control." The Nexus awakens. In the depths of the Mariana Trench, the archival Nexus projected a massive hologram visible to all the Coalition vessels, a complete technical breakdown of their own most advanced systems, along with annotations showing dozens of potential improvements they had never considered. "Your civilizations have been trying to recreate the Builders' technology for millennia," Marcus explained to the stunned Coalition delegation. "But you always focused on the what and how, never the why. You saw their artifacts as weapons to be controlled, power to be harnessed. We saw them as lessons to be learned. The Coalition's infiltration ships, hidden in Earth's oceans, found their cloaking systems suddenly operating at peak efficiency, better than they ever had before. Not because they had been attacked or hijacked, but because the Nexus was teaching their technology how to work as it should." Admiral Wu stood at the viewport of the Bastion, watching as waves of quantum information rippled through space. "The Bastion isn't a weapon," she explained to first speaker Theron. "It's a proof of concept, a demonstration that humanity understands enough to be trusted with the full legacy." Across the galaxy, other sites began to stir. Ancient facilities, dormant for countless millennia, detected the activation signals from Earth's Nexus and began their own awakening protocols. Each contained different pieces of the Builder's vast knowledge, waiting for the right moment and the right understanding to be revealed. Commander Hassan Patel's voice came through the comm system. "Doctor, we're detecting responses from at least 12 other locations across the galaxy. They're all activating in sequence." The quantum cores of the Nexus pulsed one final time, sending out a wave that caused every piece of technology in Earth orbit to briefly operate at its theoretical peak potential, not as a threat, but as a promise of what could be achieved through genuine understanding. "The question isn't whether humanity can be trusted with this power," Marcus said softly. "The question is, can the Coalition be trusted to learn from its mistakes? Are you ready to understand rather than control, to learn rather than dominate?" Evolution's Echo. 1 year after the revelation of the archival Nexus, the Grand Chamber of the Galactic Coalition had been transformed. Where once crystalline spires had dominated the architecture, Now, smooth curves of living metal blended seamlessly with the original structures, a physical representation of the change sweeping through galactic civilization. Admiral Wu stood before the assembled representatives, her uniform now incorporating elements of both human and coalition design. The first graduating class of the Joint Understanding Initiative has completed their training, she announced, gesturing to a group of coalition scientists working alongside human instructors. For the first time in our history, we're not just using advanced technology, we're truly understanding it. The chamber's holographic displays showed scenes from across the galaxy. Coalition ships, now enhanced with properly understood builder principles, flying alongside human vessels. Research stations where multiple species work together to explore the depths of physics and reality. But most importantly, they showed new sites being discovered, more repositories hidden in places no one had thought to look before. They're everywhere, Marcus explained, now serving as Earth's ambassador to the coalition. Deep oceans, gas giant cores, dimensional pockets. The builders left their legacy scattered across the galaxy. We were just the first to understand where to look and how to learn rather than exploit. The Bastion, now joined by a fleet of similar vessels, crewed by both humans and coalition species, patrolled the borders of known space. But they weren't looking for threats. They were searching for understanding, for more pieces of the puzzle the builders had left behind. The builders weren't just technologically advanced. First Speaker Theron addressed the assembly, his scales now shimmering with patterns that would have been impossible before. They had achieved something far more significant, a perfect balance between progress and wisdom. They didn't vanish or go extinct as we originally thought. They evolved beyond the need for physical form, but not before ensuring their knowledge would pass to those ready to understand it. In the depths of Earth's oceans, the archival nexus continued its work, but now it was joined by similar facilities discovered on other worlds. Each contained different pieces of the builder's legacy, each waiting for the right combination of curiosity and wisdom to unlock its secrets. We've discovered that the builder's technology isn't just about manipulating energy or matter, Commander Paddle reported from the Bastion's new quantum research lab. It's about understanding the fundamental connections between consciousness, reality, and possibility. Every discovery leads to new questions, new opportunities for growth. As if in response to his words, the Nexus and its sister facilities across the galaxy activated simultaneously. New data streamed into the combined coalition human network, not weapons or power sources, but deeper understanding of reality itself. The builders had left breadcrumbs leading to something far greater than mere technological supremacy. This is just the beginning, Marcus said, his eyes bright with the promise of discovery. The builders left us a roadmap not to their level of advancement, but beyond it. They wanted us to surpass them, to take their understanding and build upon it. But first, we had to prove we were ready. The assembly chamber filled with a soft light as the latest transmission from the combined builder networks coalesced into a new form. A message written in the quantum fabric of reality itself. It wasn't just meant for humans or the coalition, but for all species ready to take the next step in cosmic evolution. We are ready now, Admiral Wu declared, not because we have power, but because we finally understand why it was given to us. The galaxy isn't a place to be conquered or controlled. It's a mystery to be understood, a puzzle the builders left for us to solve together. As the message decoded itself, revealing new layers of understanding about the nature of existence, the assembled representatives of humanity and the coalition watched in shared wonder. They had moved beyond their old rivalries and fears, united in the pursuit of something greater than power, the pursuit of understanding. The Bastion sailed through the stars, no longer a symbol of human advancement, but a testament to what could be achieved when wisdom and technology evolved together. The galaxy had entered a new age, not one of conflict or domination, but of discovery and growth. The builders' true legacy wasn't the technology they left behind, but the lesson that had come with it. True power lies not in what you can do, but in understanding why you should do it.